Puyallup Valley chapter of the Japanese American Citizens League is building a Remembrance Gallery.
The Puyallup Assembly Center will encourage an inclusive understanding of the wrongful incarceration of 125,000 Japanese and Japanese Americans during World War II. And joining us to continue the conversation this morning is Eileen Lamphere, the president of the Puyallup Valley chapter of the J.A.C.L. Nice to have you with us today, Eileen.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So this, we know, is going to be a pretty powerful display. Talk about the importance of highlighting this really dark time in our country's history.
I think the most important thing is so many people do not even realize what happened during World War II to over 125,000 people. And if they don't know that, they don't realize that the Puyallup Fairgrounds was turned into the largest concentration camp in the state of Washington. And I think that is a pretty powerful chapter in not only local history, but American history. And for people to know that, you know, what happened in 42 has some repercussions as we move forward into 2024 and beyond. So the Remembrance Gallery will give people an opportunity to not only learn about what happened in 42, but also within the context of over 100 years of anti-Asian sentiment, not only nationwide, but here in Washington. So we are, Puyallup Valley J.A.C.L. is very fortunate to be given this space by the Washington State Fair.
Such important history that a lot of people don't know about. So you just mentioned that the Washington State Fairgrounds were parts of that original confinement site. Can you talk about the important role that the State Fair will be playing in the actual display and how they're going to be honoring those who were wrongfully imprisoned there?
Well, it's the biggest part that the Washington State Fair is playing in the Remembrance Gallery is giving us the space. And we will be a very unique memorial in the Japanese American confinement sites because we're, as an assembly center, we are actually on the original confinement site, and we are inside the grandstand where the horse stalls were, as horses were getting ready for and cooling down from races. It's also where the hospital was. It's where the other dental and medical needs were being taken care of. The fair is saying, yes, we were part of the concentration camp system. It wasn't anything on their part. The military seized the fairgrounds. So if you're dealing with the military or the government, there's not an option of saying no. So by them giving us the space, also they are working with all of our vendors, the contractors. They have given us right now free reign in terms of the content to make sure that the voices, the lens of our Japanese community is what is being reflected. So their part is not a hammer and nail. It's their stepping back and letting us, as the Japanese American Citizens League, decide and implement and construct this Remembrance Gallery. And we are so grateful for them. I mean, this is, 82 years. So we've been waiting for some kind of permanent display. I do want to say in 1984, George Tsurukawa did create and installed a sculpture, and it is right outside the administration offices, and it's called Harmony. We dedicated a plaque back in 2017 so people could see and read from George's own words what the sculpture represents and how the interconnecting hands deliver his message.
We've been waiting a long time for this display, Eileen, and I'm wondering, when people go and see it, they read the stories, they see those pictures that are being displayed, what do you hope that they take away from that?
I hope, looking at the legacy of what happened in 1942, that people have an understanding of what happened and why it happened. I mean, even former President Reagan in 1988, when he signed the Civil Liberties Act, he apologized for what happened. And he said it was due to hatred, it was due to war hysteria, and it was due to the lack of political leadership. And so the takeaway is, now we fast forward to 2024. Some of those aspects of what happened, the violations in 1942, are continuing now. Just like when the country was first started, we are welcoming, and people from other countries want to come to America. And so, 125,000 Japanese Americans and Japanese were incarcerated. A lot of people don't know that 2/3 of those people were American-born citizens. They weren't naturalized. They were born right here. My mom was born in Seattle. And so if you are an immigrant to this area, if you are a refugee, if you happen to be undocumented, you're going to have to really be watchful of how your rights are going to be played out, because many times you don't have any rights. The takeaway for me, and I tell this to young people, is if this is what happens to American citizens in 1942, pay attention, because sometimes we have not learned the lessons.
History can repeat itself. Eileen, when will the display officially open to the public?
Well, we will be open on the very first day of the fall fair season, so that will be August 30th of this year. And we are hoping, I see the video is up. One thing that I do want people to look at is what we call monument, and that's about 40 feet of names of all the people that we have been able to find that were incarcerated there. So they will be listed alphabetically with their government issued number. And I think that will be very, very impressive, because you walk in and it's like, whoa, these are a lot of names.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I hope people will take the time to learn about the content and the context of the Remembrance Gallery.
Very important. And Eileen, we thank you so much for joining us today to talk to us about this display. We know preparations are still happening, but that will fully open on August 30th. So thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for allowing Puyallup Valley to share about this Remembrance Gallery.
Course.
We appreciate it.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good weekend. Yeah, it's going to be powerful
It is.
to think, descendants of the people who were in those confinement camps are still around today, still alive today.
Yeah.
And so just thinking about them, their families, and the public who's going to go and be able to step in those spaces and learn and hopefully be moved, because she's right. We still see, crimes of hate happen today,
Racism.
particularly against the Asian community. We talk about Stop Asian Hate. That's still happening.
It is, and you can't ever forget that. And I think about, that space that she was talking about, that space when you walk in and you see all those names, and you think about how each one of those people has a story and how that time period impacted their lives and has impacted their families ever since, too. It's going to be really powerful.